Welcome back to Glitch Chat. We're back here again. This is Peter from Pixel Glitch. I'm Jared from Avalanche Reviews.
How's it going, guys?
And we're going to talk today about some stuff that's been going on in the world of technology, gaming, and everything in between.
Yeah, we have quite a few things to talk about today. Let's see. We have the awesome concept that Kim.com is going to be releasing his own email service, which I'm all for. I currently use Gmail, but I'm ready to switch to anything that cares more about my privacy than how to sell ads.
Yeah, exactly. And the idea of the email client from Mega is that it's completely encrypted, and you don't have to be a paranoid, freak to just want all your
care about your privacy.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with privacy.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of a bad idea for him, if you ask me, because he already has all this heat on him from the whole Mega scandal.
Yeah, it's kind of making it look a little bit more incriminating.
Yeah, it really is.
Having someone that has a reputation for, just illegal activity, hacking, harboring piracy.
Yeah.
Those are all accusations.
At the same time too, we're not damning him.
Yeah. No.
But at the same time too, it's cool to see that he really doesn't care. He's moving forward with this anyways. Yes. Not only did he bring up his new service with Mega, but now he's also offering the encrypted email service, and that's, I don't know. It's like if I was working for the government, I would see this as something that was clear evidence that he's committing wrongdoings. But then from my point of view, that's really cool. It's real ballsy, I guess.
Yeah. He brought up some really interesting statistics when he spoke to this conference, where he brought up 3 million users and 125 million files were stored on Mega in the first month, which is just an insane amount. Apparently, it took Dropbox 2 years to achieve that same thing, which is it just blows the doors out of the progression of how many files were consumed are consumed and are used in Mega.
Yeah, it makes sense. Kim.com has a real, like a grassroots following. Everybody who is on the internet who knows one thing about another knows that, Kim.com represents a really cool thing with the internet, with that old 90s hacker mentality that information wants to be free. And Kim.com is like the new poster child for that entire movement. And I think the whole encrypted email client is just another step towards that direction.
Yeah, I can imagine just him starting Mega as turning this into this new Google that cares about your privacy and your encryption. That's fucking awesome.
I mean, the jumping off point here, think about things like a news service where the news is they're delivering news that you want to hear, and it's completely it's just like this encrypted, unfiltered. You can't. The government can't spy in and see what news we're talking. You know what I mean? Just little things like that. That could it could really lead into other things, and this could be a real big snowball effect.
I wouldn't be surprised if he takes the encryption further and just offers an encrypted internet, like VPN.
Well, I would love that. Just an entire web browser.
Mega VPN.
That always runs in that secure mode. That would be amazing. He has the resources, the team, with everything.
I think it would be incredible just to see just this private mega island on the internet where data is accessible through that, and it's just purely private.
That's good stuff for sure.
Yeah. So on to our next topic. It's kind of related with Kim.com's piracy allegations, but apparently last year P2P music share declined 12% declined 17%. So I guess there is just a trend of, but that to me is more just like mass media that is more consumable.
I can see that.
In simpler ways, which is kind of what we've been demanding Hollywood, not Hollywood, AKA.
Yeah, and the idea is to stop pirates. You have to make your content easier to get to than it is to pirate. And I think that's a good idea. The streaming services, I think what it's saying in this article is what really kicked it into high gear. And now everybody can kind of get their music and get their files without having to, because not a lot of people know how to illegally download music, and the ones that might be willing to may be scared for the legal consequences, especially with Kim.com, what happened to him. I mean, I'm sure a huge amount of all that mega upload stuff is music. I'm on like a giant amount, I think.
I'm not gonna lie, I even had my own mega upload account, and that's
yeah, no, absolutely.
The premium service was used for.
I know there were movies on there, and that's what I think that's what got him in the end was the movies that were stored on Mega Upload. But I feel like everyone was using it for music.
Yeah.
So now that we can stream music as easy, if not easier, than we can pirate it, and unrawing it, putting it into our desktop, opening up our music player, as opposed to going to a web service and just streaming music free. And that makes sense because they make money off the advertising, which, you can go one way or the other, but you have to fund it some way. So as long as it's easier for us to get to than it is to pirate, then the MPAA can maintain their high paychecks
Quotas,
for their executives and stuff.
I like streaming services. I like Spotify. I just don't like ads, and I think the ads will always drive me to prefer piracy.
Well, how what kind of payment model are they going to use to fund all this stuff, though?
Yeah, that's true. The payment is. I think the payment should. I think the music should just be free, at least for to listen to. I shouldn't be able to distribute it, but I shouldn't have to be forced to listen to ads. Services that treat me well will have me treating the bands and the labels and the companies better, because I'll actually go to shows and I'll buy merchandise.
Or if you make certain songs off an album free for streaming, and the rest you can download if you like the other songs, something like that. I could see that. I think it would be really hard to work on. Not impossible, though. That's not something that couldn't be worked out by a team full of legal executives and stuff. I mean, these are things that can happen, but just not in the current model we have now, where record label executives need to get their $2 million checks every couple of seconds or however much they make.
I think there's just too much of the old system of just how media worked is still there, and it refuses to move on or die.
Well, absolutely, because people are still making the money on it.
Yeah, because there's still it's just like oil or any old form of just milking society.
Yeah, and what they need to realize too is they need to hurry up and lower themselves to this lower pay grade so they can maintain their jobs, as opposed to the music industry just collapsing in on itself, which is what it's kind of heading towards. I mean, the amount of money that music artists make, the amount of money that these executives make, it's ridiculous. I mean, you've seen cribs and stuff, people living in $10 million homes because they sold a really good album last year. Like, that's insane. You should be able to make money off of your music, but I don't know if you should be a billionaire because you had a hit song on MTV,
Yeah, and most of the times, the good artists, well, not even most of the times, I'd say 90% of the times, with the music that's out now, the good artists are completely underpaid.
No, absolutely.
Talent is almost frowned upon.
Yeah, well, because talent isn't catchy. Talent isn't what's popular right now.
I feel like if that continually is the trend, if we keep trying to look for the latest and greatest hits to try and market, it's just not going to be very good results for Hollywood.
It's gonna keep in a steady decline, and then eventually it's gonna get to a point where it can't support itself financially anymore from how much it makes on album sales, and that's what we're heading towards. towards. I think the entire music industry needs to go to a streaming model, almost.
I'd like to see Bandcamp become just the next generation of music distribution.
That'd be nice, yeah. Just controlled by the artist himself and not by the label he's attached to.
Yep.
That would be really nice. I could see that working, yeah.
Because I even thought of it today. Like, why hasn't iTunes has the perfect distribution system, music system, and with already the App Store that came out after iTunes, why the fuck hasn't iTunes or Apple just like become its own music distribution system for independent artists? Like,
That could work, or at least buy up a distribution system.
Treat artists and apps like developers for
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they make the money
I
off
said
their
apps.
content.
I meant treat artists and their music and their albums as individual developers and their applications.
Yeah.
So that way you have like
You get a chunk of the change being iTunes, and then they get the rest of it.
even if it was the 70-30, it's better than what fucking TuneCore would provide. It's better than a lot of stores would provide. It's better than any major label would provide.
Yeah, no, that's definitely an option, and it's something that wouldn't be hard to do.
Yeah. I think it could easily change the way, just the way music distribution was on the internet before, the way fans could distribute music.
And then you think about it, that would also control. I mean, like right now, it's hard to get a hold of really experimental, strange music because it's not very popular. But what if that was widely available?
Yeah.
How music would kind of evolve. Like we've been going at a certain pace for so long, and it would just speed up, and you would see this huge upturn and very different and odd bands because they would be inspired by this stuff that they could easily find on the internet,
Yeah.
as opposed to searching through, forums to find this Swedish album that they've never heard of or something like that. What if they can go onto iTunes and check under a category and see a certain type of music and an artist that had never had a major record label release, and they could be inspired by that. I think music would benefit as a whole from that for sure.
Well, I've seen, speaking of, we were talking about Mega earlier, there's this one service called Megabox. It's going to be another mega service where you're going to be able to update and download from music for like all sorts of artists. I don't remember how they were even planning on getting away with that. Because the video shows just searching any kind of artist and just downloading it.
Oh yeah, I saw that video. That's right.
Yeah, it was a kind of strange video, but I wondered what kind of service that could come out of that.
If anyone has the resources here, let's give them that.
So let's see. We have a couple of things to talk about.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we have a couple of things to talk about the PS4 itself.
Yeah. So the PS4, unlike the Xbox or next generation Xbox, with what Microsoft's been showing, is planning on having pre-owned games available, like through GameStop and
Yeah, they
stores.
support pre-owned games. That's good. I know everybody was kind of freaking out about that. I don't know. It was for me still. It's hard to imagine a company saying we will not support pre-owned games, like to tag games to a specific Xbox user.
Yeah.
I don't know. That seems like such. We've lived off of this system for so long. I just can't see it changing.
Yeah. If
I don't
someone,
know.
this is the thing that I've heard. Like, there's two sides of this argument. Would you be pissed off if Steam didn't give you refunds, or not refunds, resell the games? No, you wouldn't, because it's already that way. We have no option to resell a game that's digitally downloaded. So what makes the physical aspect of it seem like it can be passed on?
It makes more sense to me because the physical game itself costs money to print and produce as opposed to the digital copy. And the copy.
Copy.
But if I buy for $60, I'm pretty much renting the content on that disc. And if I choose to sell it, I don't know, it makes sense to me. The same way with the DVDs. Remember, it's illegal to rip a DVD that you have bought and keep it yourself. I think with this, it's the same way. I own this content now that I bought it, and I have the right to sell it if I choose to.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand where developers would come from because they don't make any money from that. But I mean, once they've already sold that game to the first person, they made their money on that game. It's kind of greedy past that point. Like, I want to make every penny off of every sale after that one game was sold. Like, that was your part. Like, we had a relationship where you give me a game and I supply $60 to you, and then our relationship is over. That's the end.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like the idea that
it's I can understand it though. It's kind of shitty for a developer to make only, let's say, 100% of the people play your game, but 60% of it only was paid directly to you.
Yeah,
and then the other 40% is just pure loss.
That's kind of one of those things that comes with making a physical copy of the
Yeah,
game.
but I mean, that's also just like saying the same thing with a used car, though.
What about a used car?
Well, if you were to resell a used car, Honda is not receiving any money for that used car.
Yeah, but they shouldn't at that point because they've made the money off the initial
exactly,
sale.
That's what I'm saying.
I think what developers are worried about is this bottom line of theoretical money that doesn't really exist for them.
Yeah.
We could be making this much money, but they really can't be. They sold this many copies of games, and that's it. That's the end of it. You know, if someone who owns that game chooses to sell it, that's his prerogative. And you know, of course, you're well within your rights. It's legal to do that, but they're kind of finding these loopholes where it's like, all right, well now the console won't support, used games. How? That just seems so greedy, even for a developer. That's really greedy. I think as things go on and become more digital, we'll have less problems with this. But until that time, I can't see a system. I think the Xbox is going to do the same thing. They're eventually going to come out and say, all right, we're going to support used games.
You think they'll backtrack on it?
The outcry has been so far. I mean, the rumor was that Sony was the same way too, and I'm sure that rumor didn't come from nowhere.
Yeah.
I think EA is the one spouting them out about everything about next-gen consoles.
I've heard Epic and EA so far. Yeah.
Yeah, they're the ones who've been the loudest about rumors. But I feel like once the backlash gets bad enough, because it's bad right now as it is. Nobody likes the idea of not supporting used games, and if they think that's going to affect their bottom line, they'll go back on it in a second. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. I think just everything that Microsoft has shown so far from their next gen offering, or all the features like Netflix restrictions with the Kinect, scanning for how many users are in a room, only to restrict if you can watch a video. That's just
futuristic, sci-fi.
This is sci-fi DRM
craziness.
Nightmares.
That's the kind of stuff that we would watch on a movie and be like, oh, that'll never happen. Like that's
a dystopian video game future where
this is the next step right there.
Where your video games are not resellable and videos can't be viewed with more than 10 friends.
Yeah, that's insane. But that really is. I mean, when we watch movies like Blade Runner and stuff, or like a movie like Total Recall, where the government has so much control they can peer into a video device and watch you from wherever you are. That's what Microsoft is leading towards. I think they're purposely maybe Bill Gates is actually this maniacal genius, and he's just grinning on this throne of people.
Of money. Of money.
Money and Red Ring, the Xbox 360s, and soon the world will be mine. I don't know. It just seems so it's almost like a comic book villain, so villainous.
Gil Bates.
That's just insane. I don't think that they're gonna go forward with it though. The outcry's been too much, and I think Sony has already done it, and the video game industry is always playing follow the leader. Whoever is Sony is gonna have their console out first, and if that does really well, Microsoft will see that and emulate almost every feature they've done. It's just that's the way it's going to be. All the other consoles did it with the Wii.
So it's going to be a back and forth, you think? Because last time it was the opposite.
For what?
Xbox 360.
Yeah, it was. But when you took things like the Wii, they had the market share for the longest time, and now what do we have? Motion gaming on both platforms.
Yeah.
That's the way it's going to be.
They pushed that definitely.
I think that's the way it's going to be. Whoever makes the money is going to set the pace. And that's typically the way it goes, and I think it'll go that way again for DRM.
I'll move just a little bit this way, actually.
I'll move over this way.
Yeah, there we go.
Because it was my idea.
Yeah.
But I think they'll follow the same model they've been following. They're gonna keep playing catch up with whoever's making the money.
Yeah,
for sure.
Let's see.
this is my personal subject right here, is the disappearance of physical media, and I hate it. I'm a collector, and I think physical media has a place. I can understand digital downloads taking precedence and becoming the majority, but I can't see a world where I can't own a physical copy of something if I want it, as far as games or media is related.
I'm tired of being ripped off with physical media. I'm tired of buying Star Wars on every type of physical media that I have.
I can see
I've gotten it on Laserdisc, I've gotten it on VHS, DVD, and I fucking totally skipped out on Blu-ray because I don't buy Blu-rays. But if I were to still be suckered in the physical media aspect, I would have bought it on Blu-ray. And I would have been fucking squandered for another $75, $80.
Yeah, but I think that's a problem with
I'd probably be suckered into getting the first, second, and third episode.
not the physical media itself, but the people who are putting it out. George Lucas is where your issue lies. I think more than anything.
That's different though. I think if physical media, like if in the 70s there was a way to have harness 60 gigabytes for one version of a movie, and I could have a 35mm print of Star Wars, I would have kept that one and never fucking ever dealt with the bullshit that happened in the past 20 years.
Yeah. But I still, because I look at the physical media from me being a collector, and you collect too, Sega Saturn games, Sega CD games.
I have more of an affinity for collecting physical media that can't be scratched. So cartridges, those things hold up really well over time.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. At the same time though, it may be my OCD, but when I buy something, I want a lot of things that look a lot like it beside it. You know what I mean? I want a big area filled up.
I totally understand it. I have a shit ton of Sega CD and Saturn games. Like, I love those cases.
I would hate to see that go away. I would hate to not be able to do that, because imagine when the PS7 comes out and we're like, you remember those old days when we used to get on the PS4 and press the share button, you know?
In the future, we're going to be living in virtual holodecks where my fucking walls will be lined with every console and video game I never was able to own physically.
Until the day that we can inhabit a holographic universe where we can collect physical manifestations of digital copies.
It'll be here soon.
And I will be 100% for that. But until that time, I'm allowed.
I'll deal with emulation until like the launcher is literally a holodeck.
I'm okay with emulation as long as I have the physical copy as well. It's something about it with me.
You're always trying to keep it legal. Right?
That's me. I'm a legal kind of guy.
Just kidding. You have more ISOs and fucking ROMs.
I do definitely more than discs. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of having an ISO of a game that I have a physical copy of, because I know if I ever needed to, I could pop it in the case. I really like, recently I've been about having everything play on its console it came from and having everything native. I like that. I like emulation too, but it's very hard to get that exact same scan line, CRT, native, 640 by 480 look.
Like I like the native feel of playing through an RF antenna, RF port. But I honestly like seeing like SNES games and NES games just looking as sharp as they fucking can.
Yeah, and up-res. I like that too, and it fits a certain part of what I like to do with gaming. But a lot of times when I play games that I remember from my childhood and stuff, I tend to like to recreate that childhood situation. I want to sit in front of a CRT in a dark room, have it illuminate the room around me, seeing the scan lines, holding the actual controller for the console.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm big with.
There's always a difference. It always feels different.
Yeah, but that's what I'm big with now, and until we can have physical manifestations of digital copies, I can understand if the physical copy market goes downhill and it becomes 20-30% of the market share and the rest of it is digital copies. I'll be okay with that, because I have a couple. I bought Max Payne 3 actually off of Steam, and I have no physical copy, and that kind of sucks. I hate that, but still, I can buy games digitally, but I would like to have the option if I ever needed to go analog.
And well, the reason you brought that up is the fact that Sony sees that the future is disc-based.
And that's good. And like you can obviously tell, I agree with that. I don't think the future is disc-based. I think disc-based has a future. I would reword it differently.
I don't want to be responsible for the games that I'm holding getting like losing them and finding them and fucking keeping them in good condition. Let them do that. Let them serve. Let them have the discs.
That would be the best argument to Sony's yell at. I'm like, I am so irresponsible, Sony. What the fuck is wrong with you for selling me this?
You know how many times I've had to buy this game because they've scratched it or fucked it up?
I think we have another console cycle to wait until digital distribution becomes a big fact for home gaming. Just because hard drive space. I mean, hard drives have come down since that flood and earthquake and everything, and they're not made
Terrible
of fucking
flood.
gold anymore. But
You
I
make
don't
it
know.
sound like, I don't know.
The hard drive flood of
the hard drive
1906.
We all remember that year.
No, but after it was in Taiwan or Taipei?
Thailand?
It wasn't in Thailand. Was it in Thailand? It may have been. One of the Thais.
No.
one of the Asian continents where most hard drive plotters are made. There was a huge earthquake that caused a flood, and all these factories were messed up. And we all remember paying $300 for a fucking terabyte hard drive, and that's gone down. It's getting almost to the low prices they used to be, but still, what was the PS4 going to launch with? I forget what they said. The size hard drive.
Son of a bitch.
I remember him saying it was going to be. It may be somewhere in the triple digits, hundreds of gigs, which would be nice. But how many Blu-ray discs, how many digital copies of a PS3 game, PS4 game can you hold on a PS4? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the next console cycle, when maybe SSDs have become, large storage devices or something like that, maybe then digital distribution will be a viable option for consoles.
I think at that point, streaming over the internet, streaming bits of games on the fly would be really possible because you won't have the read and write times that are going to be required, that would be required now.
That would be nice. That would be really
Awesome.
cool. But at that point, then we're counting on a bunch of factors like our internet speeds in America
What
drastically increasing.
How long will it take till a fucking console has an LTE radio in it?
Maybe, possibly, I would say it was definitely considered this cycle. I can assure you that everybody was sitting at a table talking about mobile networks and stuff.
Although I don't think LTE right now is capable of like having low enough ping for online gaming. But still, you could do something with it.
Yeah,
I want to see more devices LTE enabled and on the network. Like that'd be fucking incredible.
I would say next console cycle that'd be something we would see. I don't think right now there's a big enough market for it, even though it's huge. I think as it matures a little bit and kind of settles in, the next console cycle we'll see that.
One thing that actually does have LTE now, that a device that's going to come out with LTE, it's coming out at the end of this February, is the Chromebook Pixel. Have you seen it?
Never heard of it.
You haven't heard of the Chromebook Pixel?
No.
You're all on Google. You're all on Google's dick. I figured you'd.
Not always on Google's dick. I often get on Sony's.
That's true. So you're alternating. It's basically it's a MacBook Retina-esque Chromebook.
Oh, and then running the Chrome OS.
Yeah.
All right. I have heard of that. I just didn't know. I thought you said Chromebook.
The Chromebook. It's a.
That's what I thought you said. I thought it was like a Cinco.
It's actually a Roomba powered by Chrome OS.
I could see that working. I think, man, Google is fucking killing it right now as far as just acquiring services and putting them into their own business model. And I think this is probably the next step for them.
Honestly, if you, I'm gonna just tell you a couple of specs here, and they're gonna completely deter you from this device. Okay. It's got interestingly, it has a 3:2 aspect ratio monitor or display, and it's a high resolution display. It's a 2570 by 17. I think it's 80.
It's just so unnecessary.
No, I think it's awesome. Unless you've seen a Retina MacBook screen and just like.
I've seen the Retina displays and they're fucking beautiful, but I figure you can get much better battery life with a goddamn 1080p display.
Yeah, you can get better battery life, but still the Retina MacBooks have the battery life to host it for like I think 8 or 9 hours, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I would love to have a laptop that lasted fucking 18, 20 hours.
But I'd rather have a beautiful display. But anyways, that's besides the point. This thing is very close to the Retina MacBook. The Retina MacBook is less pixels, but this has that odd aspect ratio that adds more pixels to the bottom. It only uses Chrome OS. It's only got 5 hours of battery life.
Why are they doing this?
Maximum capacity is 64 gigabytes. Default is 32. 32 gigabyte one is $13.99.
Why? Who's gonna buy this? Who in the world is gonna buy this? Oh my god.
$13.99.
This is how I felt when the Zune came out and the iPod Touch was out with 16 gigs. It cost the same as a fucking 80 gig Zune. This is how I felt. But why would you do this, Google? You've done everything so smart.
The 64 gigabyte, it comes with LTE. That's I think close to $1,600, $1,500. You might as well just get a Retina MacBook Pro, like 13-inch. Oh, this is a 12-inch display.
Yeah.
Get a 13-inch Retina MacBook Pro with 256 gigabyte hard drive SSD. Get a full OS that's capable of doing more than just basic web apps.
Yeah. This is for the rich yuppie on the go who doesn't know anything, but he needs to get to his Twitter immediately at the Starbucks. That's who that's marketed towards. They're probably not going to make a lot of these. They're not going to put out a lot of numbers out of the factory. But I don't know. I could see this thing failing really easily.
I read a really interesting thing. It was someone commented on Reddit saying that this is Google doesn't care the fact that these aren't going to sell. Because they knew this. He was comparing it to the way the G1 Android originally. They knew the same exact thing. And they were talking about how they just wanted to release a product that would show other vendors how to follow suit and to increase the quality.
Yeah. Like Google has always been the. He'll give you something and then tell you to make something better out of it. That makes sense. I don't know if they're planning on doing that. That sounds like a lot of money they're losing just to influence change in the market. I don't know if they're that
selfless. They have a lot of money. Yeah. I can't believe they would be that careless, but it shows they're that careless. That obviously, if they're willing to not give a fuck about releasing,
if these specs are fine.
That's fine.
Oh my god, that's terrible.
This is it.
Who would do that? What if someone tried to sell you a desktop with those kind? What if someone tried to sell you a laptop? What if someone tried to sell you this? It wouldn't make any goddamn sense.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Fucking sense whatsoever.
Yeah. And then plus you got to run into not being able to use certain things you used to use on Chrome OS.
It's just it's a debacle. I don't want to see it come down to like Google just trying to scramble to put a Retina.
Yeah, they need to make sure.
Device.
Yeah, they need to have a product that the people want before they stick it out there.
Other thing too, though, I forgot to mention, it's a touch display.
I don't care about that.
Yeah,
at all.
No surprise. It's got an i5 in it as well.
That's nice. That's cool.
That's
that probably makes sense why the fucking thing has a shit battery life. Though.
Yeah, exactly.
Put an i3 in there.
But I mean, it's way better than them putting charging that much for an Atom processor or what's it? ARM Cortex.
Oh yeah. I don't know, man. Touchscreens. Not on a laptop. Not on a desktop. I don't see why that's even becoming a thing. It's a cool option. I will not pay extra for it. That can't be a feature that's included in the price tag. 20 years from now, when touchscreens display are everywhere, and that's all displays are touchscreen, then sure, whatever. I'll touch it, do this or that, whatever.
I want augmented reality with leap motion sensors and touch and virtual reality.
I think that touch would kind of negate the other parts of that, though.
No. Well, I mean, touch. You still need physical. Like augmented reality can't be anything. You can't feel anything from that. You can't interact with certain things. I think touch is still required to a certain extent. Leap will take a lot of it out of it. You won't have to touch the display at certain points, but
yeah. I liked when me and your brother went to Infocom. There was a lot of displays on display, oddly enough. But they were touch screens in a sense, but all the sensors were placed in the frame that were located like an inch away from the screen. So just putting your hand in the area counted as a touch. I like that.
Yeah, no.
That's mostly because my craziness with not wanting fingerprints on a glossy display. But I think that's human. That's a human emotion, I think.
I've gotten over it, I think.
Yeah, I don't. But here's the thing. If I'm going to use my phone or iPad for watching movies or shows or streaming Netflix the way it's typically meant to be used, and it fades to that black scene on it,
you know, drama I'm watching or something, and then I see those fingerprints all the fuck over.
You're talking about in sunlight, though, yeah.
In sunlight or even in lamplight or something, you can see. I can see fingerprints on your iPhone right now.
Yeah,
you can't hide them
because it's off. Now I can't see them. I'll be shown. No fingerprints.
Let the record show there are no fingerprints.
But there is an adorable cat.
Bullshit. I'd like to see proof that.
Can't even see it. You're not allowed to. Anyways.
No, let's move on to the next.
Yeah,
we harped on that for long enough.
We definitely did. This week, the Oscars, I think it might be Sunday actually, the Oscars were on TV and I didn't watch it, but one thing I can support out of it, and definitely not Seth MacFarlane, because I heard he was hosting it. Fuck me.
I'm alright with Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah, I know you're cool with him, I'm not.
He's cool. If I saw him, I'd be like, hey, Seth. I'd probably do that.
Yeah,
if you saw him, you'd be like, fuck you, Seth. I'm indifferent.
You're indifferent with him. But Paperman, the Disney animated short that went before Wreck-It Ralph, won Best Animated Short, and that's probably one of the most awesome things that came out of that whole event.
I like that. That's cool. I like it when something as kind of niche as animation gets big support from you know, the Oscars or people at large, the mainstream.
I think it's amazing because I was so captivated watching that in the theater in 3D. It added another depth to the 2D animation style, and there was at times during it where I was wondering if it was 2D or 3D, and then I clearly you could tell it was 3D, but the style was it just was so reminiscent to the past, to like just my childhood watching these Disney animated classics.
Definitely, I see what you're saying. I'm the same way with animation. I watched a lot of anime, and within the last 6-7 years, anime has gone towards being rendered by computer. Not rendered, but it's
vector graphics.
Exactly. Most of it's vector. It looks like to me, but I love going back and watching my Blu-rays of like Akira and old movies like Escaflowne, and you see it's so sharp that you can see the line strength. You can see the actual dots with a pencil. Pressure, the porous paper didn't completely get covered by the pencil, you know. And I love seeing that stuff. I love seeing
the animation is just.
It's amazing and it can't be beat. And this is kind of like that next best thing, the compromise between CG.
It's computers emulating hand-drawn animation.
And that would be good for me because just like you said, that nostalgic feel. When I put on an old anime that's been up-res to Blu-ray and I see those thick lines from a pencil, and you see the bright colors they were able to achieve without computers, with physically coloring something in the cell. I really, really like the look of that. And you see bright, beautiful, vibrant anime today, and it looks great. It just doesn't have that feel, that kind of toned down color and those like dark lines. Oh man, I love it. And this is a good, you know, happy medium for me and that.
Yeah,
I like that. That's good.
Well, one thing I think I just hope that this is just a wave of just new movies come out and stuff.
Yeah, it just inspires people to go out and use this.
Disney clearly knows, obviously now it didn't know from the reactions of people in theaters that this was like an instant little classic short. And like I'm sure more than millions of people like wanted to see a whole movie like this.
Yeah, I would love to see a full motion picture in that same style.
What is the last time you think you saw just a 2D like Disney animated feature?
The last 2D animated feature I saw from Disney.
I can't remember.
I honestly can't.
I can think of a couple now. Like in the late 2000s, there was this one about a bear. I didn't really give a shit about.
Oh, little bear or something. No. What is it called? Some of the brother. I know exactly what you're talking about. The Indian got turned into a bear. Mm-hmm. I remember that. Never watched it though.
Never watched it.
Never seen that.
Then
there's the Princess and the Frog. That was
even more recent. I think that was like the last one where they're like, this is it.
Yeah, and it bombed really. It didn't do well at all because CG animated features. That's what the kids are seeing.
Even still though, like I don't know. It seemed like it was like not a half baked effort to make another princess movie, but it seemed kind of like out of place. They could have promoted it differently. They could have. I'm not sure.
That's true. Yeah, that didn't receive the Disney advertising campaign.
It was just at a bad time to release that.
I mean, let's face it. Right now, Disney can still, to this day, live off of sales from The Lion King and all of their classic movies because they're smart. That's such a smart business practice to lock away your movies in this theoretical vault and then open up and boom, we're having this new release of all the Lion King. We're putting special features, digitally remastering every goddamn 5 years.
I forgot about the vault.
Yeah, remember, but that's a genius business practice. It sucks for the consumer, but genius for the company.
It doesn't even really do much for the consumer. Like it just drives them to think like, oh, this is a limited thing.
It also drives price too. So now, like I used to work at Blockbuster, and we couldn't sell Disney movies used without express permission from Disney. So at some point when we were having this big new burst for the movie getting taken out of the vault and stuff like that, we could never mark that down as used and sell it in a bundle or anything like that.
Wow, they want to monetize as much on the vault unveiling.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Oh, look at this, we got our friend Dexter here.
Dex in the house?
Hey guys.
Yeah, but I don't know. I could see more animated features in this style, and that'd be really fucking cool.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
Another animated feature is Treasure Planet. Do you remember that one?
Ah, I remember Treasure Planet. That was good.
Wasn't that awesome?
I remember that coming around the same time.
That was such an underrated movie.
Oh, definitely underrated. Absolutely. Yeah, that was good. And that came out around the same time as Atlantis. Something about Atlantis.
Oh yeah,
Search for Atlantis. Something like that, right?
That was a cool movie too.
That was a good movie. I like that. I think those three. Treasure Planet, that Atlantis movie, and Titan AE. The last three hand-drawn American cartoons.
I'm gonna download all of those.
Actually, have you seen the new Tron, the animated series?
I watched
that.
That is fucking. It's still animated. I mean, it's some CG, some hand.
Yeah, but I'm all hand animation.
Right. Oh, it's all hand animation. Yeah. That's some CG. Dude, hand animation's dead. Now they can do this shit with computers. It looks.
Well, that's what we're talking about. Just the resurgence of 2D animation with CG.
Oh, with
bringing
this movie.
Bringing back that
I would
kind
like to
of
see
quality.
That one. Yeah. That's another thing too. He brings up a good point. Just TV shows with that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
fucking awesome.
Well, no, yeah, Tron is fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really good.
I gotta check that out. I haven't even heard of it.
It's on some like offshoot Disney channel called like XD.
Never heard of that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's like a Toon Disney but modern.
I'm behind the times. Nothing that shows up on.
It's not child. It's not like
it's
for
actually
children.
It's like
it's kind of for adults.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. That's good.
Yeah, it's kind of
I like how in America right now we're going to this. I think animation is becoming more for adults in America the same way it did in the 70s for Japan. And I think once it becomes more like that, we'll see a lot more pictures. Like, remember heavy metal and stuff? I'd like to see a lot more animated cartoons fueled towards older people. That'd be nice. I would like to see that.
Felix the Cat, is that what it's called?
Fritz the Cat.
Fritz the Cat.
Fritz the Cat.
Fritz the Cat.
Felix the Cat's awesome too, man.
Yeah, I like Felix the Cat, but no, Fritz the Cat is.
Fritz the Cat's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
I tried showing Peter that, and Peter was like, "Fuck this fucking movie."
Dude, Fritz the
It's
Cat's
fucking
the best.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I didn't really get into it. Yeah.
Dude, this cat gets laid all the time. Smokes a lot of weed.
Smokes a shit ton of weed.
Hangs out with black people who were animated as crows in the show.
That's the racist. It's the most racist
Like
shit.
It's very Dumbo-like.
It took place in a time when, Harlem was like pretty much segregated and stuff, and people still had these feelings about African Americans. And I don't know. It kind of made sense to draw them as completely different species from everyone else who were cats. And then the police officers rescued
No, there were
pigs.
other animals in there. That girl was a pig.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some other people were different races, but no, actually, dude,
Everyone
he was
was
kind of the only one that was a fucking cat. What are you talking about?
The other chicks he was messing around with were cats too. The cops were pigs, and then every black person was a crow.
If anyone on the internet is watching this, correct Jared right now.
You can't. It's not possible.
I don't see any corrections coming through.
Can't do it.
All right.
And they're not coming through the pipeline.
I need to get on my Twitter and just correct you.
Yeah, real quick.
Please don't. Self-fulfilling prophecy from Dexter.
Alright, so I think 45 minutes is a good wrapping up point.
Yeah, I'd say that wraps it up. 45 minutes.
So yeah, this has been another episode of Glitch Chat. Thanks for joining us. And you guys have a good night.
See you later.